Welcome back to the deep dive. You came to us with, well, a whole stack of source material, basically an ultimate guide, promising a roadmap to just absolutely stomp the Legion Remix event.
That's the idea, yeah.
We're talking max progression, getting every single limited time reward. You know, the mounts, transmogs, those cool illusions everyone wants, titles, even the new housing stuff.
Exactly. And the core message from all that material is really about ruthless efficiency. It sounds harsh, but that's the key.
So our mission today is to kind of cut through that initial fog. You know, when you first log in, it can be overwhelming. We want to give you a step-by-step blueprint for peak efficiency.
Right, because the whole strategy really, it hinges on stacking different progressing systems at the same time. You want to avoid wasting any time.
And unlock that. What do the sources call it? The secret sauce of power gain.
Yeah, the secret sauce. That's basically the infinite knowledge system we'll get into. But first, context is key.
Timing, yeah. The sources really stress this phased rollout. Phase 1 is live now, or when this kicks off, unlocking class order halls, Emerald Nightmare, Trial of Valor raids, and the zones Valshera and Stormheim.
And knowing that upfront is huge, it tells you exactly where to go first. It's not just random leveling. These zones directly feed into the raids.
So you're setting up this cascade effect right from the start.
Yeah.
Account-wide multipliers kicking in early.
Precisely. It's all about leveraging those early stacking routes.
Okay, let's dig into the foundations then. Preparation. That very first choice you make, your class. If your absolute main goal is just pure efficiency, getting those rewards solo, the advice seems pretty clear.
It is. Avoid pure DPS classes if you're flying solo and just want the rewards fast.
Why is that? Lack of sustain.
Yeah, mostly sustain and flexibility. Efficiency here isn't just about killing one thing super fast. It's about minimizing downtime between pulls, you know?
Right, non-stop action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the best bet, a hybrid class. You're looking for, like, 3 main things. 1, massive AoE damage to clear trash packs quickly. 2, really good self-healing so you never have to stop and eat or bandage. Just pull, kill, pull again.
Makes sense. And the third?
Instant dungeon queues. Being able to queue as a tank or a healer saves so much time compared to waiting in a DPS queue.
Ah, that's a huge one. So the data points towards what classes specifically?
Things like Demon Hunter, especially Vengeance spec. Death Knight, Blood spec is great. Paladin, Druid, Monk. Even Priest, particularly Discipline, can work really well with that damage healing blend.
Now look, we always say play what's fun, right?
No.
But if you're purely focused on skipping the grind, getting everything fast, and being totally self-sufficient, these hybrid roles seem like the smart choice.
They really are the most efficient choice, yeah. If you pick a pure DPS, you just need to understand the trade-off.
What's the trade-off? Slower overall.
Yeah. You might kill a single big mob slightly faster, maybe, but you'll lose way more time waiting for dungeon queues, and you'll likely struggle more with that heroic world tier difficulty jump we need to talk about later.
Because you can't just pull huge groups safely.
Exactly. You can't pull those, quote, ridiculous numbers the guides talk about. Efficiency means queuing for those mandatory dungeons while you're still out questing in the world.
Can't really do that if you're stuck in a 20-minute DPS queue.
Nope. So it's a strategic choice, not just about pure damage numbers.
Okay, good point. So, class chosen. Let's talk about the fuel for this engine, the currencies. Sounds like misunderstanding these is a common pitfall.
Big time. People hoard the wrong stuff or spend things they shouldn't.
All right, 3 main ones, right? First step, bronze coins.
Bronze coins. Simple. Cosmetics only. Transmogs, mounts, pets, housing decorations. If you buy it from a vendor in the Infinite Bazaar in Dalaran, it costs bronze.
And the advice is?
Spend it. Freely. Don't hoard bronze, seriously. Your power scales up massively later, which means your bronze income scales exponentially too. You'll earn it way, way faster later on. Hoarding it now is pointless.
Got it. Don't be a bronze dragon. Second currency.
Artifactum Sand. This one's super specific. It only does one thing. Increases the item level of your artifact weapon.
So just makes your weapon stats better. Direct power increase.
Yep. Think of it as just raw stats for your weapon. Important, but simple. Spend it as you get it to keep your weapon strong.
Okay. And the third one, infinite power.
Infinite power. Now, this is the currency that fuels your artifact weapons talent tree. This is where your active abilities and major power spikes come from early on. It's your immediate tactical power source.
And the advice for spending this early game.
Prioritize talents that give you massive AoE damage fast. You want to unlock those big, bursty abilities as quickly as possible to speed up leveling.
Any specific talents the sources call out, we need names.
Yeah, so you look at the different paths in the artifact tree, like holy power, fell power, arcane power, whatever your class has. The goal is to find a talent, usually around the third tier, that gives a big damage multiplier on a relatively short cooldown.
Like an activatable ability.
Exactly. For instance, the sources point to Divine Crusader in the Holy Power Tree. That's a prime example. Gives you this button you can press for a huge burst of AoE damage, like 300% or more against big packs.
Wow, okay.
Getting a talent like that early, that's your first major power spike. Makes clearing quests and trash mobs way, way faster. So yeah, target those kinds of AoE activators first.
That makes sense for immediate power. But you mentioned the secret sauce earlier, the meta currency, infinite knowledge. This sounds like the real core of the whole strategy.
It absolutely is. Infinite knowledge, or IK as people call it, is easily the most important resource in the entire event. It doesn't give you power right now.
Okay, so what does it do?
It permanently multiplies the rate at which you gain infinite power in bronze. And crucially, this multiplier works across your entire account, all your characters.
Whoa, okay, that's the snowball effect right there.
It's the definition of a snowball effect.
Yeah.
The second you earn one rank of IK, suddenly those little floating time orbs give you more bronze. That daily quest gives you more infinite power. Even XP gain for your alts gets boosted.
So getting this early changes everything.
Everything. It accelerates how fast your artifact levels up, how quickly you can farm bronze for cosmetics, how fast you can clear dungeons and raids. The difference between someone who gets, say, 5 IK ranks in the first day versus someone who gets maybe 1, it's night and day later on.
So the strategic implication is crystal clear then. Your main focus, especially in Phase 1, has to be on activities that give you infinite knowledge ranks?
While you're doing other stuff, yeah, you stack it. Do activities that give IK while also completing zone quests, getting reputations, unlocking cosmetics. It all has to happen together.
The sources mentioned, 36 ranks total? But there's a catch.
Yeah, 36 total ranks eventually. But here's the kicker. 12 of those ranks come passively just by earning enough infinite power over time. Up to, I think, 5 million total infinite power earned gives you those 12 passive ranks.
We don't need to worry about those 12 specifically.
Not directly. They'll come as you play and get more powerful. Our job, especially early on, is to aggressively hunt down the other ranks, the ones you get from specific achievements and activities. Those are the ones that kickstart the multipliers fastest.
Got it. Focus on the active IK ranks first. That's the roadmap.
Okay, so we know the goal. Stack those active IK ranks. Let's talk practical steps. Your first hour in the game, what do you actually do?
Step 1 seems obvious. Log in, do that intro quest, get your Legion artifact weapon. Can't do much without it.
Right, and that quest line should pretty much lead you straight to Dalaran, specifically to the Infinite Bazaar.
Okay, the main hub.
Yeah, you need to understand this place. It's not just where you buy stuff, it's the central point for everything. Vendors, cosmetic turn-ins, upgrades. But the most important thing you find there right away are the infinite research quests.
Ah, the Eternus dailies people talk about.
Exactly. These are non-negotiables. You have to do these. They give account-wide boosts to XP gain, bronze gain, and infinite power gain. They directly feed your IK multipliers.
So just do them every day.
Well, the optimal strategy isn't necessarily just doing one per day. It's about management. You always want to have one active, running in the background while you do other things. Finish it, turn it in immediately, grab the next one.
Keep the engine running.
Always keep it running. Consistency is key. These dailies are what keep that IK snowball rolling downhill.
And there was a trick to them, right? Something about stacking.
Yes. Huge time saver here. The sources confirm these dailies stack up. You can hold up to 6 of them at a time.
6. So if I only play on weekends, I don't lose out.
Exactly. You can log in on, say, Friday, pick up all the dailies you missed during the week, bang them all out in one session, and get all those account-wide boosts at once.
Okay, that's incredibly useful. No FOMO if you miss a day or two.
Right. And doing these consistently ties into a long-term goal, too. There's an achievement for completing 150 of these dailies. It's tracked warband-wide, so across all your characters.
The negative.
The Kronoskar title, it's a cool, exclusive title. So again, stacking benefits. Doing your daily maintenance contributes directly to a long-term cosmetic reward.
Perfect. Okay, hub tasks sorted, daily picked up. Where do we go first out in the world? High Mountain, Asuna.
Technically, you could. But for Phase 1 efficiency, the roadmap is clear. You start with either Valshera or Stormheim.
And we need to explain the why again, because it's crucial. Why those 2 zones first?
It's all about those Phase 1 raid links. Valshera is tied directly to the Emerald Nightmare raid. Stormheim is tied directly to the Trial of Valor raid.
And those raids are required for.
They're required for certain achievements that grant infinite knowledge, and they're tied to unlocking some of the biggest Phase 1 cosmetic rewards. If you skip these zones early, you're actively slowing down your IK gain and delaying access to cool stuff.
Got it. Zone choice matters. Before we get into the specific routes, quick note on flying around. Skydriving.
Yeah, skydriving is the dragon raiding equivalent here. As you're flying between quests, even just traveling, you need to actively fly through those floating things in the sky.
What do they look like?
Some look like little glowing time anomalies, sort of shimmery orbs. Others look like glowing demonic enemies floating up there. Just fly right through them.
And they give?
Free bronze and free infinite power. Each one isn't a huge amount, but when you're spending hours questing, flying back and forth, it adds up significantly, especially once your IK multiplier starts growing. It's passive income, basically.
Don't ignore the shiny things in the sky.
Okay.
Let's break down Valshera first. The sources call this the 4-for-1 route. Sounds efficient.
Extremely. You're getting multiple things done simultaneously, all feeding that IK goal. So first, obviously, you're doing the main zone campaign quests.
Leveling up, seeing the story.
Right. But completing that entire campaign grants the Lore Runner of Valshera achievement. That achievement gives you +1 rank of infinite knowledge. Boom, first active rank banked.
Okay, one down. What's number 2?
Second, the questline naturally leads you into doing the dungeons located within Valshera. Doing those contributes progress towards the threat of the Isil's dungeon achievement. That's mandatory progression you need later.
So questing funnels you into needed dungeon runs. Good.
Third, and this is the vital link for cosmetics. Finishing the Valshera questline, specifically the parts involving the Emerald Nightmare, is a direct prerequisite for unlocking one of the major Phase 1 cosmetic rewards.
Which one?
The Fell Shatter Illusion. It's a weapon enchant, looks really cool. If you don't finish the Valshera campaign and related dungeon raid stuff, you literally cannot get this illusion during Phase 1.
So the campaign completion is the key that unlocks the cosmetic grind later. Okay, that makes sense. What's the fourth part of the 4-for-1?
The fourth element is more about passive accumulation and farming. While you're questing through Valshera, killing mobs, you're naturally making progress towards the Legion Slayer achievement.
Which requires killing 50 empowered enemies, right?
Yeah, exactly. By the time you finish the zone campaign, you'll likely have killed a good chunk of these empowered mobs just naturally. Maybe you finish it, maybe you're close. Finishing it gives another +1 infinite knowledge rank.
Okay.
And fifth, really, just by playing through the zone and getting infinite power from quests and those sky orbs, you'll almost certainly hit the 10,000 infinite power earned threshold, which grants the unlimited power achievement. That's another +1 infinite knowledge rank.
Wow, okay. So finishing Valshera potentially nets you 3 active IK ranks, plus progress on dungeons, plus unlocking a major cosmetic illusion.
Right.
That's stacking.
And don't forget, finishing a full zone campaign also gives a permanent, account-wide bonus XP multiplier for all your other characters, your alts. Makes leveling them way faster down the line.
That's huge, too.
Hey.
Okay, Valshera done. Feeling good. Where next?
Straight to Stormheim, apply the exact same principles. It's the second stacking route.
So complete the campaign there for Lore Runner of Stormheim.
Yep, that's +1 IK rank.
Progress the dungeon achievement, which is Might of the Legion for Stormheim.
Correct. Mandatory progression.
And clearing the associated raid, Trial of Valor, eventually gives another IK rank achievement.
Exactly. Same structure as Valshera.
And the cosmetic incentive for Stormheim.
That zone's completion path is tied to progressing the Sinister Fell Arsenal. It's a set of 4 unique, Fell-infused weapon transmogs. Really cool models.
Okay, so by focusing on just these 2 zones first, you've potentially banked, what, maybe 4 or 5 active infinite knowledge ranks, plus the passive one from hitting 10k power. Your multiplier should be really starting to kick in now.
They should be accelerating noticeably. And that power increase, that feeling of, hey, I'm getting strong now,
Right.
that leads directly into the next major strategic decision you have to make constantly.
Right, so you've done Valshera, done Stormheim, banked maybe 5 IK ranks, feeling powerful. The temptation, sources say, is just to keep cruising on normal difficulty.
Yeah, exactly. You're mowing things down. It feels good. But staying on normal when you're strong, that's actually inefficient. This is where we hit the heroic world tier dilemma, or as the sources call it, the dance.
The dance. Okay, explain this concept. It sounds important.
It's critical for maximizing gains. Flipping your world tier difficulty up to heroic gives you massive bonuses. We're talking way more XP per kill, way more bronze per kill, like maybe 150% increase instantly. The gains are huge.
Okay, so why not just stay on heroic all the time then?
Because there's a massive risk. The mobs hit way harder, obviously, but the real trap is the scaling. You level up so fast on heroic, especially with stacked XP buffs, that your gear falls behind really quickly.
Ah, so the mobs scale up faster than you can get gear upgrades.
Precisely. You suddenly find yourself getting absolutely wrecked, maybe even one-shot by regular mobs, because your item level hasn't kept pace with the heroic difficulty scaling for your current character level.
Okay, so how do you manage that? What's the dance part?
The strategy isn't to stay in heroic. It's to constantly evaluate and swap. The sources even give a rough guideline. Monitor your artifact weapon's item level. If it's lagging, say, 40 eye levels behind the maximum possible item level gear dropping for your current character level, heroic is probably going to hurt.
So keep that gap smaller.
Yeah, aim to keep your artifact maybe only 20 eye levels behind the curve before you try heroic again. So the dance is this. When you feel strong on normal, like you're just obliterating everything without effort, you flip up to heroic.
Test the waters.
Exactly. If you can handle it, great. Enjoy the massive gains. But the moment you start struggling, kills take too long, you're using cooldowns on trash, your self-heal can't keep up. You immediately swap back down to normal.
No shame in retreating?
Absolutely none. Swap down, maybe spend some of that artifactum sand you've been collecting to upgrade your weapon's eye level, maybe run a quick normal dungeon for gear upgrades, get yourself feeling overpowered on normal again, then swap back up to heroic. It's this constant back and forth.
Flirting with danger for maximum reward.
Yeah.
Why is going to heroic so important, though, besides the general XP bronze boost?
Empowered enemies. These special mobs are much more common on heroic difficulty, and killing them is crucial.
Why? What do they give?
They drop extra bronze, a ton of XP, good chunks of infinite power, and they count towards that Legion Slayer achievement we mentioned earlier.
The one for killing 50 empowered enemies that gives an infinite knowledge rank.
That's the one! We need those 50 kills to get that precious IK rank. Doing it on normal takes forever because they barely spawn. Heroic is where you farm them efficiently.
Okay, so the strategy is almost like surgical strikes. Pop into heroic specifically to hunt down those 50 empowered mobs as fast as possible, grab the IK rank achievement, and then maybe drop back to normal to continue questing comfortably until you're ready for the next dance.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's calculated aggression. Don't just wander around heroic getting frustrated. Have a goal. Get those 50 kills for the IK rank.
All right, so if that's the goal, do the sources point to specific farming spots? Hotspots for empowered mobs?
They do. If you want to knock out those 50 kills really quickly, especially if you're playing one of those recommended hybrid tank specs with huge AoE pools, there are a few key locations.
Leave us the locations. Where do we go?
Okay. Location 1, flagged as extremely good. The Murlocs. Specifically at Build and Shore and Moorheim. This is way over on the far east coast of Stormheim. Coordinates are roughly 65-80 on the map.
Murlocs. Weigh them.
Density and terrain, they're packed really tightly into these little coastal inlets. This lets classes like Prop Paladin or Vengeance DH pull insane numbers, like 20, 30 Murlocs at once into a corner and just AoE them down safely. Lots of kills, fast respawns, high chance of empowered ones in the mix on heroic.
Okay, Murloc Beach Party in Stormheim. Got it. Location 2.
Location 2, for a change of scenery, head west in Asuna. Look for the Farinar demon mobs. Asuna isn't a priority phase 1 questing zone, but this specific area near the Legion invasion points apparently has a very reliable concentration of empowered demon spawns on heroic.
Right, near Farinar. Okay, and location 3.
Back to Murlocs, but this time on the west coast of Asuna. Right near the academy, there's another stretch of coastline packed with Murlocs. Same principle. High density, fast respawns.
So Murlocs in Stormheim, demons in Asuna, Murlocs in Asuna. Pick your poison.
Pretty much. The sources suggest that a player who picked the right hybrid class, prioritized those early AoE artifact talents, and uses these spots strategically on heroic can potentially knock out those 50 empowered kills and get that vital IK rank in maybe an hour or less.
An hour for an IK rank. That's a massive acceleration compared to just stumbling across them while questing normally.
Huge. It's about being strategic, not just grinding mindlessly. You're grinding with a purpose. Get the IK rank, then get back to efficient questing or dungeon stacking.
Speaking of dungeons, while we're doing all this zone stacking and heroic dancing, we can't forget those mandatory dungeon achievements, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, cannot forget them. We need to complete the 2 main Phase 1 dungeon meta achievements. Threat of the Ice Isles, which is tied to the Valshera dungeons.
Like Darkheart Thicket, Vault of the Wardens. Weapons.
Yeah, those. And Might of the Legion, which is tied to the Stormheim dungeons, like Maw of Souls and Halls of Valor. These are not optional side activities.
Why are they mandatory again?
Because completing these specific meta achievements rewards you with items called infinite research. And you need infinite research later on as a component to unlock further ranks of infinite knowledge progression.
Ah, okay, so doing the dungeons feeds directly back into the IK system.
Directly. The moment you unlock the ability to queue for these specific dungeons through the dungeon finder, you should be queuing for them. Even if you're flying between quest hubs, be in the queue. Get them done ASAP to keep those IK multipliers flowing smoothly. Don't put them off. Okay, so you followed the plan. You stacked IK in Valshar and Stormheim, you did the heroic dance, farmed your 50 empowered mobs, knocked out the key dungeons. You should be hitting max level now or very close. Level 70, maybe even 80, depending on the cap.
And once you hit max level, the focus shifts.
Yeah, big shift. You're moving away from primarily leveling and stacking those early IK ranks. Now the pivot is towards the capstone content. The raids, the world bosses, and the time-worn keystones, which is their version of Mythic Plus. And the drive now becomes more about maximizing bronze income and farming specific regions for top-tier rewards.
So first priority at max level, raids.
Raids, absolutely. Specifically, the LFR, looking for raid versions of Emerald Nightmare and Trial of Valor. You want to run these immediately upon hitting max level.
Why LFR first? Just for accessibility.
Accessibility is part of it, but it's strategic too. Running LFR serves two non-negotiable purposes. First, it completes the raid clear achievements tied to your Phase 1 zones. This is what finally unlocks those cosmetic rewards we talked about, the Fell Shatter Illusion from Emerald Nightmare and the Sinister Fell Arsenal weapons from Trial of Valor. You need the raid clear achievement.
Gotcha. Finishes the zone stacking loop. And second reason.
Second, completing those raid achievements themselves grants you another bust of infinite knowledge ranks. Plus, the bosses in LFR drop significant amounts of infinite power and a really nice chunk of bronze. It's a huge injection of resources and IK.
Okay, so LFR is the baseline. But what if you're feeling really strong because you followed the IK plan?
Then the sources strongly advise scaling up the difficulty as fast as you feel comfortable. Moving from LFR to normal difficulty raids and then to heroic raids. It's not just about getting slightly better gear drops.
What's the main benefit then?
The amount of infinite power and bronze dropped per boss kill increases dramatically with difficulty. Clearing normal or heroic raids gives you way more resources per hour than spamming LFR. This helps you hit those big passive IK thresholds faster, like the ones at 1 million or 5 million total infinite power earned.
So push difficulty for faster resource gain. Makes sense. After raids, what's next on the max level checklist?
World bosses. The Broken Isles world bosses are back, and you need to farm them. They're on a weekly rotation.
Why are they important? More IK.
Yes. Killing the different world bosses contributes progress towards the Might of the Legion achievement, the same one the Stormheim dungeons fed into. Completing that achievement grants another crucial +1 infinite knowledge rank. So hitting the active world boss each week is a high priority objective once you're at max level.
Okay. Raid achievements, world boss achievement for IK. What about the Mythic Plus equivalent? Time-worn keystones.
Right, time-worn keystones. There's a key IK target here as well. You need to successfully complete a +7 time-worn keystone.
+7, what does that give you?
Completing a +7 awards the time-worn challenger achievement, and guess what that gives you?
Let me guess. +1 infinite knowledge.
Bingo! Another guaranteed +1 IK rank just for clearing a +7.
How hard is a +7 supposed to be?
Based on the sources, if you follow the IK stacking strategy correctly and gear it up a bit through LFR or normal raids, a +7 should be very achievable for a well-played hybrid class within the first week or two of hitting max level. It's designed as an attainable goal for efficient players. That +7 is the minimum target for IK efficiency.
But you can push higher, right? For cosmetic.
Oh yeah. If your goal shifts beyond pure IK efficiency towards the really exclusive stuff, you can push much higher. Clearing a +25 time-worn keystone rewards a full cosmetic armor ensemble set.
A whole transmog set. Nice.
And clearing a +30 rewards a unique, prestigious title. But those are definitely stretch goals, things to aim for once you're really geared and comfortable. The +7 is the mandatory step for the IK game.
Okay, so that covers the main IK sources at max level. What about the long-term grind? Just farming bronze for all those vendor cosmetics?
Pretty much, but there's strategy even there. You'll likely want to flip back to the heroic world tier occasionally, even at max level. Still for empowered mobs? Partly, yeah. Killing empowered mobs and doing world quests on heroic difficulty continues to give bonus bronze and infinite power, helping you reach those passive IK thresholds and just generally farm faster. But it also feeds into bigger meta achievements.
Like what?
The sources mention things like the heroic Broken Isles World Quest achievement. Completing these longer-term heroic objectives contributes towards the ultimate meta achievement for the event, which is expected to reward something like the Void-Scarred Regalia armor set. So it's late-game bronze farming combined with long-term achievement hunting.
Got it. Now let's talk about actually buying the cosmetics. How does that work? Just bronze?
Mostly. For the vast majority of the legacy rewards, all the old transmogs, mounts, pets from Legion, yeah, it's just bronze. Head to the vendors in the Infinite Bazaar in Dalaran, spend your bronze. Simple.
But there's a catch for the really new fancy stuff, like that Talon Warlock set they showed.
Exactly. There's a special mythic vendor. They sell the really high-tier, brand-new ensembles and potentially other unique items. These cost bronze, yes, but they also require special reagents.
Reagents. Where do those come from?
These regions drop only from the final bosses of the raids, on higher difficulties. And the drop rate scales aggressively.
Oh, aggressively.
Killing a final boss on mythic difficulty might get you, say, 10 of these regions. Killing the same boss on normal or heroic might only give you 1 or 2. LFR might give none or just 1.
Ah, okay. So if you want those top-tier mythic vendor cosmetics, you have to push into normal, heroic, and especially mythic raid clears eventually.
You absolutely do. There's no way around it for those specific rewards. This is where the efficiency planning pays off. By getting super powerful through IK stacking early, you make pushing into those harder raid difficulties much more feasible later in the event when you need those reagents.
So the advice isn't to try mythic raiding week 1.
Definitely not, unless you're in a super hardcore group that's already mastered everything. The efficient path is LFR normal first for the IK achievements and baseline bronze power income. Once your IK is maxed out or close to it, then start strategically targeting specific mythic boss kills each week solely for those region drops. Treat it like a specialized farm run.
Got it. What about the class mounts? They mentioned new fell-colored versions. Do I have to level every single class to get them all?
Thankfully, no. Leveling one character to the max level cap 80 presumably earns you the Time Runner title and automatically grants you the fell-colored class mount for that specific class.
Okay, so one free one. How do I get the others?
Once you have the Time Runner title on any character, a vendor unlocks in Dalaran that sells all the other class mounts for bronze. I think the cost mentioned was around 20,000 bronze each.
20,000 bronze. Okay, that's farmable, especially with high IK multipliers. So it's basically a bronze grind, not an alt leveling nightmare.
Exactly. Leveling one character to max is the unlock. Collecting the rest is just a matter of farming bronze efficiently.
One last thing mentioned was an extreme achievement, clearing Mythic Trial of Valor without anyone dying.
Yeah, that one sounds like a real headache, honestly. It's the ultimate bragging rights achievement, probably.
What makes it so tough, besides, Mythic Tovi?
The sources note that this specific achievement, the Flawless Mythic Trial of Valor Clear, is actually split into 4 separate achievements, one for each armor type: cloth, leather, mail, and plate.
Wait, what? So you need to do a flawless clear with a group wearing only cloth, then again with only leather, etc.
That seems to be the implication, which means you essentially need multiple, highly geared, max-level characters, at least one for each armor type, and coordinated groups capable of doing flawless mythic clears.
That sounds incredibly difficult and time-consuming.
Absolutely. This is definitely flagged as a save it for the very end of the event kind of goal, something to tackle when gear is trivial. Maybe everyone has multiple max-level alts, and you can form specialized groups. Not something to worry about early on.
Okay, wow. That was a seriously deep dive into maximizing Legion Remix. Covered everything from the first login to those insane endgame achievements. Let's try and boil this down for everyone listening. A final checklist. The critical sequence for peak performance.
All right, step 1. Log in, grab that artifact weapon immediately, then head straight to the Infinite Bazaar in Dalaran and pick up your first Infinite Research daily quest. Keep one active always. Bank them weekly if you need to, but don't skip them.
Step 2. Hit the world, but be strategic. Start with the stacking routes. Valshera first, then Stormheim. Why? Because finishing their campaigns is the key to unlocking Phase 1 cosmetics like the Fell Shatter Illusion and the Sinister Fell Arsenal, and they set you up for mandatory raid achievements later.
Step 3. While leveling through those zones, your absolute focus needs to be on gaining active infinite knowledge ranks. Finish the zone campaigns for the Lore Runner achievements, plus 1 IK each. Do the side quests and dungeons that contribute to the meta achievements, like Threat of the Ice Halls and Might of the Legion, feeds IK later. Prioritize those big AoE talents on your artifact weapon, and critically, execute the heroic dance.
Step 4. The heroic dance. Constantly evaluate your power. Feeling strong on normal. Swap to heroic. Go hunt those empowered mobs, especially in the hotspots Murlocs and Stormheim, Demons, Murlocs, and Asuna. Get those 50 kills for the Legion Slayer IK rank, plus 1 IK. If heroic gets too hard, immediately swap back to normal, gear up using Artifactum Sand or Dungeon Drops, then try heroic again. Constant adjustment.
Step 5. Hit max level. Pivot focus. Immediately run LFR Emerald, Nightmare, and Trial of Valor. This completes achievements for cosmetics and grants more IK ranks. Then, target the active world boss each week for the Might of the Legion achievement, plus 1 IK, and push to complete a Time-Worn Keystone, plus 7 for the Time-Worn Challenger achievement, plus 1 IK. Those are your key max-level IK gains.
And step 6. Maintenance and long-term goals. Keep doing those infinite research dailies, weeklies. Continue farming on heroic difficulty periodically for bonus bronze, infinite power, and progress towards meta achievements like the Heroic World Quest 1. Start chipping away at zone reputations for more cosmetics. And begin planning your bronze spending and eventual high-difficulty raid farms for reagents if you want those missing vendor items.
Follow that order, prioritize IK above all else early on, and you'll absolutely maximize your efficiency and rewards during Phase 1 and beyond.
It really highlights how the limiting factor isn't just how many hours you play, is it?
Not at all. What this data really shows is that your progression speed is fundamentally tied to strategic planning, specifically around acquiring infinite knowledge early and often. It changes the whole dynamic.
So here's the final thought for you to chew on. When you follow this plan, when you stack those multipliers and become, frankly, completely overpowered and broken within the event systems, when you can solo content designed for groups, what happens then?
Consider those goals that seem impossible right now. Collecting all the class mounts, farming enough bronze for every single cosmetic, clearing those super high plus 25 or plus 30 time-worn keystones for the titles and ensembles, getting that flawless mythic raid achievement.
When your power gain is exponential thanks to smart planning, maybe those impossible goals become genuinely achievable within the limited time frame of the event.
Exactly. The key isn't just playing more, it's planning smarter.
Something to think about as you dive in and start stomping the Legion remix. Good luck out there.